Hey, Tourpreneurs, it's Mitch Bach, and just a quick note before we begin today's episode. Tourpreneur is currently sponsored by Google. We're thankful for their support of our community, and we are offering with them a completely free course helping you unlock the power and potential of Google's Things to Do program, which is specifically helping tour operators add their tours to Google in new ways that gives you new exposure and more direct bookings. To learn more, go to tourpreneur.com/Google. And as always, show notes, more resources, links to our newsletter, our business coaching community, and so much more are available on tourpreneur.com. Now to the episode.
Welcome to the Tourpreneur Podcast. Travel industry veteran Shane Whaley will take you on a journey with fellow tourpreneurs, sharing their tips, ideas, insights, and success stories to inspire you to make your tour business the best it can be. And now, here is your host, Shane Whaley.
Hello and welcome to episode 167 of Tourpreneur. This is the podcast where we flatten the learning curve for tour operators and travel professionals around the world. On today's episode, I ask 11 tourpreneurs what is the one skill or competency they want to implement for their business in 2022. So it's a little bit of a different format on this installment of Tourpreneur, and I would like to ask you, as you're listening to the skills and competencies, areas of improvement that you're going to hear in this episode, have a think about your own business. What's the one thing you could learn this year that could be a real game changer for you? And you're going to hear some very, very different ideas and areas and skills and competencies in this episode. The other favor I have for you is if you hear one of our tourpreneurs talking about an area, a skill or a competency, and you have experience or you're very knowledgeable in that area, do drop a line to that tourpreneur. I'm adding all of their websites into the show notes, which you can find at tourpreneur.com/167. Better still, come on our group. Come and share that in our group. We've got over 3,200 operators in our online community, which you can find at tourpreneur.com/Facebook, and maybe even share your own areas and skills that you want to learn in 2022. The whole reason we built this community, this is Tourpreneur. We help each other to flatten the learning curve. I'm not coming to you with all the answers here. I am not the guru. You, dear listener, are the ones with the ideas and the knowledge here. So it'd be great to share that with everyone. Stick around after Midgie shares her focus point with you. I'm going to share what skill I want to learn in 2022. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Arrival San Diego. Got some news for you on that, as well as some upcoming new features for Tourpreneur. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been in conversation with many of you about what you want to hear on the podcast. And, well, I've got a couple of things I'm going to bring to your attention, but that will be after we hear from our tourpreneurs.
Content creation machine is my 2022 goal. From blog posts, videos, Facebook Lives, magazine articles, you name it, I want my team to create it. Karen Risco, citytourdetroit.com, offering up our smart signature city tours and introducing awesome new theme tours this year. Happy New Year.
I want to make more data-driven decisions in 2022. Since the pandemic, I've learned how to monitor and track our analytics, particularly with our SEO, social media, and in our sales metrics. And I'm hoping to better learn how to strategically use this data in the upcoming year. My name is Matt Shalizzi, and I'm the owner of City Food Tours in Philadelphia. You can find us at cityfoodtours.com.
Hi, Shane. This is Jason Kucharawi from Tour Guides in Toronto. The competency that I would like to develop this year is bookkeeping and financial reporting. I am not a numbers guy, and I really need a system that I can implement that will show me how my business is doing financially from month to month with profits and losses and expenses and all that stuff. Thanks. Bye.
Hey Shane, this is Don Rickard with Platypus Tours in Napa, California. Hey, thanks very much for hosting this community. I think it's really useful. Two things I'm focusing on this year going forward. Number one, I want to master everything I need to know about online security and cybersecurity, rather. The second thing I want to master is the platform Flow, and I'm going to incorporate that into our program this year. That's it. 2 for this year. Thanks very much. Talk to you soon.
Hello, everyone. My name is Renee Ventris, and I own Cork and Keg Tours with my husband, Don. We are a winery and brewery tour company with full concierge services in DC's wine country in Loudoun County, Virginia. I would like to get better at SEO. I've done pretty well with what I've taught myself and just kind of figuring it out as I go, but I think it's time for some professional assistance, maybe even taking a course to make sure that we stay above the fold and ahead of the competition as one of the top 3 companies that show up anytime somebody searches for wine tours in Virginia. My website is corkandkegtours.com. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Cheers, y'all. Bye.
Hi, this is Scott from the Foxy Peddler in Green Bay, Wisconsin. One new thing that we'd like to implement for the 2022 season is to create business sponsorship and advertising opportunities, as it'd be another source of revenue for us.
Hey Shane, this is Torin Kexel with the Flying Bike in Asheville, North Carolina. We do electric bike tours and rentals, and we are at flyingbiketours.com. And the one skill that I really hope to work on this year in 2022 is telling stories that move people. I think we have to do that as tour guides in our business, and also I have to do it as a tour operator who has a lot of guides working for me to move them to want to be a part of something bigger. So I am excited to do that, and I appreciate you taking the time to ask.
Hi Shane, John Coupland, John England Tours, johnenglandtours.com, delivering private tours to castles and historic places in southeast England, and also private walking tours in London. What I'll be continuing to work on this year is nurturing existing partnerships and forming selected new ones as well. So these range from working with existing OTAs. I'm not proactively in lookout for new ones because I believe in less is more, but also to continue to concentrate on aligning myself with selected historians who are relevant to the topic based on British history and themes that I cover during my tours. And also continuing to work with existing tour operators and selected new ones, forming new partnerships, particularly with those who can complement what I do and vice versa. Hope this helps. Bye.
My name is Teresa, and I own Milwaukee Food and City Tours, Chicago Food Tours, and Delicious Food Delivered. The thing that I want to improve on in 2022 is time carving. I'm going to be making the time to let go of all the little stuff and scale our businesses. That means that I need to take advantage of efficiencies. For example, I used to always do payroll manually, and it was always that thing that I dreaded. And instead, I have sat down, I've converted to the Homebase app. I'm onboarding all of our old staff back onto the system, and it's going to save me time and money later. And also, I want to start taking the easier path. Sometimes I get caught up on little things. So for example, for 15 years, we have sold all of our gift cards manually. I hate electronic gift cards and think that they are so impersonal. But instead, I've let it go. I've found a compromise that makes me happy and is going to make my life easier. And lastly, using our staff to their fullest potential. I need to delegate projects to others that can and should be doing those projects. And doing this is going to allow me to let go of those projects that shouldn't be on my plate and allow me to focus on creating and taking high wealth opportunities and scaling our businesses in 2022.
Hey, this is Alan Rust, Chief Experience Officer with America Tour Company. Our teams are excited to always share the local stories of our communities during our history and food tours. We are excited to be growing and need to add a lot of new team members to our tour team this year. The skill I need to really work on is how to attract and secure the best team members besides just using Facebook and Indeed basic job posts. Our website is americatourcompany.com, and I look forward to meeting all of you hopefully soon and hearing any input you have.
Hi, Shane. This is Midgie from Juneau Food Tours in Juneau, Alaska. So I would say for 2022, the one thing that I would implement is scaling, and in a different direction of what a lot of people think about growth and building your business. What I'm looking at for scaling is meeting the needs of the people who come to my destination. And one of those is working with travel agents, specifically high-end travel agents that are looking for unique experiences for their clients. Over the last few years, I've been reached out several times, multiple times, to look for something that is different from the food tour, that's private, that's unique, and that really expresses the deliciousness of our destination. So I'm going to be launching a new tour, a new experience this year. I'm going to be scaling some of my other experiences online and kind of fine-tuning the things that we offer so that it's more manageable. But really what I'm looking at is striving for that new market of the high-end traveler. I'm super excited about it. Hang in there for a couple months because I'll soon be making an announcement of a new excursion that we'll be offering that is way different than anything I've ever done, but definitely has the seal of approval for deliciousness in Juneau. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share. I hope everybody is looking forward to a prosperous 2022. And just remember, hashtag 2022 for the win. Think positive and think of hope because we're going to get through.
Whoops. Looks like Midgie's run out of... what do you put in phone boxes these days? 10 pence? 10 cents? Or am I showing my age? Well, I'm showing my age saying about phone boxes. Midgie's actually in Mexico. So thank you for sending us that message when you're on your well-deserved holiday down in Mexico. I'm green with envy. I'm here 10 degrees Fahrenheit in Vermont, and I'm seeing wonderful pictures of food and beaches and sun down there in Mexico. Want to say a big thank you to all of our tourpreneurs who sent in a message for this episode. It's a different kind of format. I hope you like it. It's something I might experiment with on future episodes of the show. And I invite you to help your fellow tourpreneurs if they are working on a skill that you are particularly knowledgeable about or a competency that you've experienced with. Do come on to our group or email them via the show notes and help them out. Because that's what we're all about here at Tourpreneur. We're all about flattening the learning curve for tour operators. So I know you're all dying to know what's the skill or competency Shane's going to work on in 2022. Well, I have a long list of things here, as most of us do, on my A4 pad. There are courses I've bought, books I've bought, podcasts still to be listened to, of areas I want to improve. But when I look at what I'm doing here at Tourpreneur, and I would like you to do the same thing for your business, like what's the game changer? What's the one thing that could really change things for your business? And for me at Tourpreneur is quite simply, I need to become a better interviewer. Now, I think I've done okay. I think, although this is episode 167, I'm 200 plus interviews in. But I want to get better. I want to be stronger at interviewing because the whole reason I set up this podcast was I just have so much admiration and respect and curiosity for all of us that are building a business in tours, activities, and experiences. And I want to uncover those stories because each of us has been on a hero's journey. And I'm not exaggerating there when you consider what we've had to deal with during the last 2 years. But even in an ordinary year, trying to make a living out of a tour and activity business is very, very challenging. And I want to get better at digging into your stories. I want to know about what was the call? What was the light bulb moment for you? What was it that made you think, you know what, I'm going to leave a 9 to 5 and set up a tour business? Or, yeah, I'm going to work all evenings to have a side hustle and see if I have a go at an activity business. What was that moment? What was that call? And I want to dig deeper into the tests and trials of your growth phases. And I think sometimes when I listen back to the episodes, and bear in mind, I'm not trained, I didn't go to journalism school, I'm just nosy. And I think, yeah, there are times we skirt over some things like pricing strategy or retaining tour guides or dealing with OTAs or marketing or a million other topics that we cover on the show. And I want to get better at really trying to understand those phases and the tests and trials that your business went through, because this is all part of the hero's journey. And then I want to cover, where are you today? That journey, where are you today? How did you get here today? What lessons can we learn from you? Because other than Trip School, run by Mitch and Alan, there is no university, there is no hospitality school for us, right? So learning from each other is so important, and we can all save each other a lot of, I was going to say hair, but I'm losing most of mine, money and hair and stress and everything else by sharing the lessons and experience of things that we've been through together. Because I really do want to pull back the curtain on tourpreneurship and really shed the light on all of you that come on the show, how you've built and grown your businesses. And I think I've done okay at that, but I want to be better. I want to be stronger at it. And then maybe, I need to hire a researcher, so have a researcher actually speak to guests in advance. So, that's what happens on NPR and the BBC. I don't have their budget, obviously, but if you know a good researcher, drop me a line. Maybe that would be good for me. But ultimately, I need to be a better interviewer. And I started it's called National Council for the Training of Journalists, which is the major accreditation body for journalists in England for a diploma. And I like a third of the way through it or something. I kind of got distracted by another shiny object and I never completed it. So I want to go back to that. I want to be a stronger interviewer. I'm looking to hire a mentor. I'd love to work with a journalist who would be able to evaluate my interviews and come back with suggestions and maybe work on better questions. So if you know anybody like that, do drop me a line. In the meantime, I'm looking for one. That's where I want to improve, because that's the game changer for Tourpreneur. If I can be an even better interviewer, there's more chance you're going to rave about Tourpreneur to your friends and tell your peers, hey, go listen to this episode. Shane spoke to so-and-so and just learn so much from it. And that's what I want, because you give me 45 minutes to an hour listening to the podcast. There are over 1 million podcasts out there. Gosh knows how many audio books or YouTube videos. I really respect the hour that you spend with us here at Tourpreneur, and I want to make sure you're getting an ROI. Some of you will remember I wrote a blog post where I said I was on the fence about attending. I've decided to go. I've booked my flights, already at the hotel and registration. I'm going. And there's 2 reasons why I'm going. To be honest with you, the first one is I really missed you. All of you that attend arrivals. I miss sitting down, having a cup of tea with you or something stronger, learning about, what you've been dealing with over the last 2 years. Zoom is great, Google Meet, whatever. Nothing replaces in person. Nothing replaces in person, for me anyway. So I'm looking forward to that. And secondly, I really want to support Arrival. Bruce, Douglas, Lynn, Alex, they've all had a really tough time over there, as we all have, right? But I want to make sure that when we come out of this, that there is an Arrival event for us all to attend in future years. So part of me going is a vote of support for them as well. And San Diego, right? 13 degrees Fahrenheit here. I quite enjoy seeing a bit of sun in San Diego. I can't lie about that. Anyway, I want to wrap up with a couple of new features we're bringing to Tourpreneur. Like I said at the top of the show, I've spoken to quite a few of you of late about what you want to hear more of on the show. Thank you for guest suggestions. That's very helpful. We are bringing you a monthly roundtable that's aimed at tour guides, and that will be hosted by Nikki Padilla Rivera and Mitch Bach of Trip School. And I'm really excited about that because we had discussed that idea. We floated it in our online community. There was a lot of support for it, and I was really anxious that roundtable should be hosted by someone who's worked as a tour guide. I never have. I've been on hundreds of tours, but I've never actually led a tour myself. So really pleased that Nikki and Mitch are very experienced at tour guiding. They've been in the trenches, so they will be able to bring us some fascinating conversations with tour guides around the world. And tourpreneurs, we can learn from that, because what I have heard over the last year is how difficult it is to hire tour guides, to retain talent, etc. So there will be lots of learning for us for our business, for the success of our businesses there as well. The other roundtable that we are going to produce is a marketers roundtable. Marketing was also something that came up very strongly, a lot of support for that in a recent poll that we ran. And I thought it would be fun to have 3 or 4 marketeers from the different agencies that work in our industry, and have listener questions. So for instance, if you're saying, hey, I want to do should I spend time on Instagram Reels or Facebook Reels? Whatever it may be to do with marketing, and we can have some really good conversations about that. And the way I run Tourpreneur, no one's going to come on and be making a pitch at you. It's going to be full of value. Really excited to bring you those roundtables on marketing. And what also scored the highest in the poll, and I was very humbled by this and very flattered, is you want more Shane interviews, discovering how your fellow tourpreneurs built their businesses. So that's something that I will be prioritizing as well in 2022. Lots to look forward to. If you've got ideas on what you want to hear more of on the show, and guests, don't hesitate to email me. This is your show. This is where we flatten the learning curve for tour operators and travel professionals around the world. That is our mission, and that is your show. So do email me, and I'm happy to host and produce those episodes for you. So I'm going to wrap up there, but I'm really excited for what the year is going to bring us here at Tourpreneur. Again, big thanks to our tour operators who contributed to today's episode, and you can find their websites and links and resources mentioned on today's show at tourpreneur.com/167.
Thanks for listening to the Tourpreneur podcast. Be sure to visit tourpreneur.com to join the conversation and access the show notes, including links to the resources mentioned on today's episode. This is Tourpreneur.